Hello, welcome to the course PH Wi-Fi B06 Computational Physics. The contents of today's lecture is taken from Core Python Programming by R. Nagesh Rao. Today we will discuss Module 2, NumPy and Matplotlib. Before getting into the details of NumPy, let's first get familiarized with the data type array. And those who are familiar with C already know what an array is. Array is an object that stores a group of elements of the same data type. And what's the advantage? You can process a group of elements easily. Now, what are the characteristics of array? Array can store only one type of data. So you can have an array of integers or array of float, but you cannot combine both. Second thing, array can change its size dynamically. So this is one big advantage compared to C. Because in C, when you're defining an array, you need to pre-allocate the memory. But here, that happens automatically. We need not declare the size of the array while creating it. When elements are added, the array will increase its size, and when elements are removed, the array will decrease its size automatically. So the memory management is done by Python itself. Now, some of you may be wondering, by the definition of array, isn't it very similar to list? Because list also combine a number of elements under a common name, right? So that's true. The only major difference between array and list is that array can store only one type of data, whereas a list can store different data type. In a single list, you can have integers, float, characters, etc. So that's the only difference. Now, if you have only one type of data, like only integers, in that case, which one will you choose? An list of integers or an array of integers? If your list or array is small, it doesn't matter. But if you're dealing with a large number of elements, then it is better to use arrays as they require less memory and have faster execution time. Now this is the syntax for defining an array. So you have an array function which is part of an array module. So first you need to import the array module. Then you can define array as array name equal to array inside bracket type code, and then you specify the elements inside a pair of square brackets. Okay. Now, type code, you have different types. For integers, the type code is I. For float, it is F. For double, it is D. And for Unicode characters, it is U. Let's look at a couple of examples. So first thing, you need to import the array module. From array, import star. So in that way, I can import all the functions of the array library. Okay. Now I want to define an array of integers. So I say a equal to array, type code is I for integer. Then inside a pair of square brackets, I specify the elements. Okay. Now, if you want to display the array elements, if you simply say print A, then it doesn't print as a array. It will simply print array I, 5, 6, minus 7, 8. So that's one disadvantage with the array module. So if you want to display the elements, you need to invoke a loop, a for loop. So for x in A, print x. So you know each print statement will display the data on a separate line. So you get the output something like this. Similarly, if you want to define an array of characters, you say a equal to array, the type code is U, then you mention the elements of the array. Now, if you want to print them one by one, once again you use a for loop like this. Now, just like a list, array also support indexing. So each element has two types of index, a positive index and a negative index. And the indexing always starts from 0. So if you look at this particular array, 5 is the 0th indexed element, 6 is the first indexed element, so on and so forth. And if you're following the negative indexing, then the last element is always minus 1. So a minus 1 is 8. Okay. So you can access the elements of a array using the corresponding index. Since array supports indexing, it also allows slicing. You can extract a part of the array using the corresponding index. So let's do an example. So first from array import star, then you define an array of integers with elements 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay. Oh, when I say A, 1:3, you know what's the meaning of it, right? So you're going to extract a part of the array starting from the first indexed element all the way to 3 minus 1, that is the second indexed element. So here first indexed element is 20 and the second index element is 30. So you are going to get a list containing elements 20 and 30. But when you print it, because it is an array module, it's not going to print as a proper array. So this is how you are going to get the display message, array I 20 30. Now if you don't mention the starting element, then by default the starting element is 0. So when you say A:3, it will extract elements starting from 0 all the way to 3 minus 1, that is 2. Similarly, if you don't specify the ending element, by default it will go all the way to the last element. So we are already familiar with all these things. There are two types of array. One is the single dimensional array or one dimensional array, which contains only one row or one column. So this is an example of a one dimensional array. So here you have only one row. Then you have multi-dimensional arrays which contain more than one row and column, and each row can be considered as a single dimension array. So a combination of several single dimensional array is what's called a two-dimensional array. Similarly, a combination of several two-dimensional arrays constitute a three-dimensional array. So this is an example of a two-dimensional array. So this is how you define it. So marks equal to array, then you have a pair of normal brackets, and inside that you have first a pair of square brackets indicating that you have an array inside it. Then each row you are going to specify inside a pair of square brackets. Now these square brackets, instead of that you can also use normal bracket, doesn't matter. So each row you are going to put inside a square bracket, and each row is separated by a comma. Okay. So you can see here there are 3 rows and 5 columns. So this is a 3 by 5 array, which is similar to a matrix. You can also call it as a 3 by 5 matrix. Actually there is a separate data type called matrix. I just mentioned in terms of dimension, this is similar to a matrix. Now so far we have discussed how to process arrays using the array module. Now there is a specific module called numerical Python or NumPy, which is designed for working with arrays and matrices for scientific computing. But the advantage with NumPy module is that it contains a large library of mathematical functions like linear algebra functions, Fourier transform, etc., which will be very handy while dealing with array of large numbers. Okay. Now you can create arrays using NumPy in several ways. So you can use an array function like the one we discussed before. There is also a linspace function, then log space function, arrange function, zeros and ones function. So in this class we are going to discuss about array linspace, zeros and ones, and log space and arrange you can do as a reading assignment on your own. First let's see how to create arrays using the array function. So now this array function is a part of the NumPy module. So first you need to import NumPy. So from NumPy import star. In this way you can import all the functions of the NumPy module. Now this is how you are going to define. A equal to array. Array is the function. Then inside a pair of normal brackets, first you specify the elements of the array inside a square bracket. Then you specify the data type. So this is an integer array containing elements 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now when you say print A, the array is printed directly. So this is one big advantage of NumPy over the array module, because in array module this is how the output is displayed. This is not a proper array, but here it is displayed as a proper array. Now the data type specified here is actually redundant, because when you specify the elements, Python is smart enough to understand that all the elements inside the array are integers. Okay, so even if you don't specify integer here, it's going to give you the same result. Okay, so now onwards we are not going to specify the data type. Python is going to identify the data type on its own. Another example, A equal to array 10, 20, 30.1, 40, 50. So here all the elements are integers except for this one, right? This is a float. And you know the thumb rule, right? If at least one of the elements is a float, then the entire result is going to be a float. So when you say print A, it's going to print the array as an array of floats. So all the numbers are converted into floats. So this is how the displayed result is going to be 10 point means 10.0. Okay, so it's not going to write the 0 explicitly here. 10 point, 20 point, 30.1, 40 point, 50. So all the elements are converted into floats. It's also possible to create an array from other arrays. For example, you have an array A which contains elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's an array of integers. Now if you want to create a new array B, you can say either B equal to array A, so B also will have the same elements, or you can simply assign A onto another array. You say C equal to A. So this also works. So here C also have the same array elements. So this is how you create array from another array. The array function can also be used to create multi-dimensional array. So from NumPy import star, and then array ARR equal to array. You have a 3 by 3 array here. So first row is 102, second row 213, third row 142. As I mentioned before, these elements either you can define inside a pair of normal brackets or a pair of square brackets. Both works. Now when you print array, so this is how the output is going to be. So this is a 3 by 3 matrix or a 3 by 3 array. Okay. You can convert a list into an array, right? Because as long as all the elements are of same data type, then the list is exactly same as an array, right? So I have list A, which is an integer list containing elements 1, 2, 3. Then you have list B, once again it's an integer list containing elements 4, 5, 6. Now list A I can convert into an array simply using an array function. So C equal to array A, right? So there is a small issue here. First I need to import the NumPy module. Without that I cannot access the array function. So let me make that correction now. Okay, now this looks fine. Okay, so when you say C equal to array A, so this list A is converted into an array. Now you can do some array operations here. For example, when you say D equal to array A plus B, so it's going to create an array D with elements from both list A and B. So this is how D array is going to be. So you have elements from both these lists. Similarly, when I say E equal to array A comma B, so this is going to create a two-dimensional array where the first row is the elements from list A and the second row is the elements from list B. So this is how array E is going to look like. Sorry for the typo. The first row is 1, 2, 3, and the second row is 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now let's see how to create arrays using linspace. We have already discussed about linspace while mentioning about the range function. So as you know, range is a function which is used to create a list of integers, and linspace is used to create a list of floats. Okay. Now here the linspace function is used to create an array with evenly spaced points between a starting point and an ending point. So this is the general syntax: linspace start, stop, end. So it's going to divide the range between the starting element and the stopping element into n equal points. Let's look at one example. From numpy import star a equal to linspace 0, 10, 5. So 0 is the starting element, 10 is the ending element, and the range between 0 and 10 is divided into 5 equal points. So here one thing you have to remember: in linspace, the start element and the stop element both are included. In range, the stop element is not included. So that's one difference between range function and linspace function. So the output is going to be 0, 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10. So usually linspace is used to create an array or list of floating points, especially while dealing with loops, etc. Next, creating arrays using zeros and ones. So zeros creates an array with all zeros, and ones creates an array with all ones. So this is the syntax: 0, n, comma, data type. N is the shape. So if it is a one-dimensional array, n is a number, a single number which indicates the number of elements in that array. Whereas if it is a two-dimensional array, then it's going to be a pair of numbers. First number is the number of rows and second number is the number of columns. Let's first see how to create a one-dimensional array. From numpy import star a equal to zeros 5 comma int. So basically I need to create a one-dimensional array having 5 elements, and all the elements are integers. 0 means all the elements are 0. So when you print a, this is how the output is going to be. You have a one-dimensional array having 5 zeros, 5 integer zeros. Now if you don't mention the data type here, the default data type is float. So if you say a equal to zeros 5, this is how the output is going to be. Once again, you have a one-dimensional array of 5 zeros, but here all the zeros are floats. Let's see how to create a two-dimensional array. From numpy import star. Now let's use the ones function. A equal to ones 2 comma 3 comma int. So as I said, the first number is the number of rows, so I have 2 rows. Second number is the number of columns, I have 3 columns. So I'm going to create a 2 by 3 array of integers where all the elements are ones. So this is how the output is going to be. You also have what is called an empty function, which is used to create an array of arbitrary data of the given shape, data type and order. For example, if you say a equal to empty 3 comma 3. Okay, since I don't mention the data type here, by default it's going to be float. So it's going to create a 3 by 3 array with random numbers. Okay, so when you print, you get a result like this. 3 by 3 array with arbitrary numbers. Okay. So as I said, the log space and arrange function you can do as a reading assignment. Let's now look at some of the important list functions. So I am going to take 2 example lists. List A is a one-dimensional list with elements 1, 2, 3. And B is a two-dimensional list with elements 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. Okay. First one is len array. we are familiar with len function from strings. It basically find out the number of elements, right? So in the case of a single dimensional array, it returns the number of elements. In the case of a two-dimensional array or a multi-dimensional array, it returns the number of rows of an array. Okay. So in the case of array A, len A returns you the number of elements 1, 2, 3. And the case of array B, it's going to return the number of rows. I have 2 rows, so len B equal to 2. Then the size function, array dot size, it returns the total number of elements in the array. So in A I have total 3 elements, so A dot size gives you 3. In B I have total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements, so B dot size gives you 6. Next is a shape function, array dot shape. It returns the shape. Shape means number of rows and columns of the array. So A dot shape, here you do not have rows and columns separately, you only have 3 elements. So it gives you 3 comma, right? It has only 1 dimension, right? Whereas in the case of array B, B dot shape, here you have 2 rows and 3 columns. So this gives you 2 comma 3. Then n-dim, as the name suggests, it gives you the dimension or rank of the array. So A is first one-dimensional array or rank 1 array, and B is 2-dimensional array or rank 2 array. So A dot n-dim gives you 1 and B dot n-dim gives you 2. Next, some arithmetic operations of array. So from a numpy import star, I am going to define A as a 2-dimensional matrix, basically a 2 by 3 matrix, and B is also a 2 by 3 matrix. Since all the elements are integers, both A and B are integer arrays. So when you print A, this is how the result. When you print B, this is how the result. Now when I say C equal to A plus B, basically I am going to get a 2 by 3 arrays where the elements are nothing but the sum of individual elements of A and B. So this is how C is going to look like. The first element is sum of 10 and 20, 30. Second element is a sum of 20 and 20, 40, so on and so forth. Similarly, when you say D equal to A minus B, once again you are going to get a 2 by 3 matrix where the elements are the difference of individual elements of A and B. Similarly, you can multiply the individual elements by saying E equal to A into B, or you can find the ratios of the elements using the function A by B. Now in NumPy, you also have other functions for multiplication and division. For example, you can use the multiply function to find the product of individual elements. So when you say E equal to multiply A comma B, you get the same result. Similarly, when you say F is equal to divide A comma B, once again you are going to get the same results. Okay, so this is how you do the element-wise arithmetic operations in an array. Now before winding up, let's do 2 example programs to see how to input elements into a one-dimensional array using the keyboard. Okay, so I want to input elements one by one from the user end. Okay, so let's first see how to input into a one-dimensional array. Now from numpy import star, first I want to get what is the total number of elements. So I say n equal to int input, enter the number of data to input. Okay. Now once I get the total number of elements, I'm going to initialize an array with n elements. So I say array equal to empty n comma n. So basically I'm going to create an integer array with total n elements. Since this is the empty function, I'm going to have an array of arbitrary numbers. Now using a loop, I am going to modify the elements. Okay. Now, instead of empty, you can use zeros or ones. So you have an array of zeros. Then using the loop, you are going to modify the elements. Or you have an array of ones. Then using the loop, you are going to modify the elements. Okay. Now, how do you input the data? So for that, I am going to invoke a for loop for I in range 0 to n. Then I say array I equal to int input, enter the elements. Okay, so one by one I am going to enter the elements using the keyboard, and finally I am going to print the array. Okay, so this is very easy. Now when it comes to two-dimensional array, it's slightly more difficult. So first let's understand how to access the elements of a two-dimensional array. Okay, so this is a 3 by 3 array with elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Now, when I say A0, that refers to the 0th row, and A1 is the first row, and A2 is the second row. Now, look at the rows and columns for each element. Now, this is a 0th row, 0th column. So, its index is A00. 0. Now the second element, it is row 0 and column 1. So its index is A01. Similarly, this element, this is first row and 0th column. So the index is A10. Okay. So for each element you have a corresponding index, and you can access the element using the index. Okay. So once you understand indexing of a two-dimensional array, it's easy to input into a two-dimensional array. So basically you need 2 dimensions, right? One is the number of rows and one is the number of columns. So you input that first. So R equal to int input, enter the number of rows, and C equal to int input, enter the number of columns. Okay. So once you have R and C, so let's first define an empty array with the corresponding dimension. Instead of empty, you can use zeros or ones. So array equal to empty R comma C comma int. So you have an R by C two-dimensional array of integers. So once you define an empty array of the specific dimension, now you can modify the elements using a loop. Right? Since you have the 2 dimensions, right, you need to use 2 loops here. So first loop is for the rows and second loop is for the column. So for I in range 0 to R, inside that for J in range 0 to C, now you print, enter the elements I comma J. Okay, so what happens in the first iteration? So here in the first iteration I is 0. Here in the first iteration J is 0. So it's going to display the image, display the message, enter the element 0, 0. So what I mean is I am asking the user to enter the element A00, the first element here. Okay. So the first element is entered. So you say array I comma J equal to int input. So the first element is entered. Now what happens? J is incremented to 1, right? So the message will be enter the element 0, 1. So the second element is entered. Then J is incremented. So it will ask enter the element 0, 0, 2, right? So the third element is also entered. Now what happens? It goes to the first iteration. I is incremented to 1. So it will display the message enter the element 1, 0. So 1, 0 is entered. Then 1, 1, 1, 2, so on and so forth. Okay. Finally, you print the array. So print the entered two-dimensional arrays array. So this is how you input into a one-dimensional and two-dimensional arrays using the keyboard. Now, before winding up, you have an assignment. Write a program to read one-dimensional array of 10 elements from the keyboard and split it into two arrays of 5 elements each. That's for today. In the next class, we will discuss about matrices.